I must say, this is one time I can almost guarantee that it will be a steady shoot. Why? Because the man that's holding the AT&T Samsung phone is none other than Rick Okreshevsky, who worked 30 plus years swinging a hammer. So I'm sure he can handle that very light and technically sound phone of mine. Here he is, Michael Garr, ladies and gentlemen. I love this young man. He helps me so much. We text late into the night, setting things up for our weekend get-togethers on News Radio 1020 KDK. Let me shake your hand. Thank you.
Good to see you.
For everything you do for me and all of our great producers. And of course, we just, I don't know, have a lot of respect for these men and women who help us behind the scenes to really sound a whole lot better than we would be if we didn't have them. I don't even want to think what we would be. Okay, now let's begin with the Pirates. You think Gung is coming back next year?
I don't know. I know he's working out with a team down in the Dominican Republic or somewhere down there.
Working out with a team.
And at first, I didn't think it was very likely. It just seemed like he was in a lot of trouble all the time. And even Neil Huntington said that it was very unlikely that he was coming back. Going into next year, I don't know. It's a good sign that he's swinging the bat and kind of working out and doing some stuff in the off season. But with all the trouble that he's been in, it's kind of up in the air. For me, it's 50-50.
What about Andrew McCutchen? Where do you think his future will be? Playing center field, right field with the Pirates?
I don't think so. I think his time here is done. I was a little surprised with Clint Hurdle, too, getting the 4-year extension. I thought he was, quite frankly, going to be out in Pittsburgh, but he obviously got a 4-year extension, so he's going to be here for a while. But I think this team, after winning 98 games 2 years ago, had their window wide open. They had a real shot at competing with the Cardinals and Cubs. Now they took a real step down in 2016, and they're doing the same thing in 2017. I think they have a lot of young guys. I think they have a lot of young guys who have a bright future. I don't see McCutchen being a part of that future.
We're all a fan of this young man, all of us, and it's just nice to have him here talking. He is Michael Garr. He is my producer overnights, News Radio 1020 KDK. Josh Bell, breakout year with the bat, a big bat, and that's what you need in this lineup. It'd be nice to have another one, but at least he looks like he's going to be around for a while.
Yeah, absolutely. He's one of the young guys who, like I said, has a really bright future. He's been one of the very few bright spots of this Pirates team. Unfortunately, but he's done really well, and he looks like he's playing a lot better defensively too. That was kind of the big question early on, but he's really been improving lately at first base, and we know what he's capable of doing on the offensive side. So I think he's going to be a fun player to watch.
What do they do to compete with the Cubs, Brewers, and St. Louis? Then we'll move on to Pitt.
Well, they got to fix the rotation. Obviously, Ivan Nova has been a real disappointment this year. Tyone, I think, is going to bounce back next year. Obviously, nothing's guaranteed, but with the cancer surgery and everything that he had, I think ever since then, he's not been all there, and rightfully so. I mean, after going through that, who would be? So I think he's going to have a bounce back season next year. I like Trevor Williams. I think that's good, but I think the main thing for this team is the rotation. Again, after 2015, they had they had a solid rotation, but they didn't go after guys like Jay Happ or Edinson Volquez. And now you're looking at a kind of a mediocre rotation. And if they want to compete with these better teams, they gotta fix that.
All right, Pitt OSU Saturday noon, 93.7 The Fan. Oklahoma State University beat South Alabama 44-7. They outgained them 505 to 175. Mason Rudolph, their quarterback, 335 yards, 3 touchdowns. They opened the season with a 59-24 win over Tulsa. Pitt lost to Penn State 33-14, but I didn't know this, young man, that they actually outgained the Nittany Lions 342 to 312. 3 drives inside the Penn State 10-yard line resulted in 10 points. Pitt turned the ball over 3 times and gave up a safety. Cowboys last year won this contest in Stillwater 45-38. Quadri Henderson and Jester Weah are key to this football team, and Max Brown's going to have to get in the ball. There's obviously this talk of Ben DiNucci, the quarterback, maybe stirring things up a little bit because he's got more mobility. Speaking of mobility, a great runner, Quadri Olison had 96 yards last week. Linebacker Quentin Wargenis and Jordan Whitehead are both still out. They've got 2 more games. They're sitting out of suspension. So how do you think this thing stacks up? But before you tell me that, so it really wasn't that bad against against Penn State?
I think DiNucci coming in, I think that kind of gave the team a spark. I also thought they Pitt didn't look that bad defensively, but Penn State's just kind of too good of an offense, and they had some big plays, and I think that's kind of what did it. Oklahoma State has a really good offense. I haven't been able to watch, but I've seen some of their stats, and they're the 9th ranked team in the country, and it's obviously not a fluke. They're the real deal. So I think Pitt's going to have their hands full. Obviously, struggling with Youngstown State in week 1's not a good look for them either, and then losing to Penn State. So it's going to be a tough matchup. It's good that it's at home. But DiNucci, it'll be interesting to see how Brown does. I think Brown's obviously still going to start, but
you can't yank him this early.
You can't. I agree, you can't. But DiNucci, even though he played a small amount of time, he looks kind of good. Kind of gave the team a little
But
life.
can he get the ball downfield to Quadri, Henderson, and Wheel?
Well, I think he's more mobile, which gives them a better option than Brown. But Brown may have the stronger arm of the two, so I think ultimately he's going to get the nod. And like you said, it's a little early to pull him, but it'll be interesting. If they're down at half, by a lot, then we may see a switch.
All right, being that he's got so much knowledge and I've got so much information, let's stop now and come back and we'll talk Steelers and Penguins. He's ready. They open camp the 15th of this month. Stay with us. Back with more in just a moment.